So, what can we do? What can we do? One, we can be aware that a large portion of what we need to solve these problems, what we need in order to be more effective, in order to be faster thinkers, in order to be more capable abstract thinkers, it's already there. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to use the goddamn thing. Part of the problem is recognizing it as what it is. That philosophical proposition, theological proposition, is directly correlatable to proposed instruction for how the human condition may be improved through how the human being may be improved. We need to recognize that first. Now, once we've done that, we have another problem. We are up to our eyeballs in instruction to sort out. We are up to our eyeballs in potential or possible instruction that could be used to transform, that could be used to maybe improve, maybe destroy, maybe have no impact whatsoever. So how do we sort through it? How do we sort through it? First, getting better at sorting through things, because we suck at it. We suck. We suck at navigating through abstract territory. We're terrible at it. We run from ambiguity, screaming. Looks like it could be an and or, a both and. Maybe we've got, maybe between proposition A and proposition B we have some syncretistic synergy possible. We're gonna run. We're gonna run. I mean, there is a cheap old saw from forensics, but it does work, and there is something to be said for it. In a debate, he who clarifies first loses. We don't like ambiguity. And I would propose that part of the reason, part of the personal drive away from ambiguity, is that first, as mentioned before, we have this this cultural history which inoculates in us a desire to believe, or a belief that the qualities of the human experience are intrinsic, and that the qualities of self-prioritization and self-analysis that we experience are innate. Not a lot of room for ambiguity there. And second, via our Roman cultural heritage, how do we deal with conflict? Application of force. You know, we don't like syncretism. We don't like synergy. We like one force triumphing over another. We like the law of non-contradiction. We fucking love the law of non-contradiction for these reasons. Not necessarily because it's true, because honestly, whether it's true or not is completely irrelevant. It is completely irrelevant to the fact that we live in an environmental and historical context wherein we would not be exposed to an alternative. Given that we view our thoughts as innate, inflexible, immutable, given that we view the nature of our character as inflexible and immutable, and given that we view the relation between that unseen seer, that unobserved observer, that original point of perception that says, I think I think, therefore I am. The Cartesian proposition is essentially a mirror, that because I can look at a mirror, there must be a me that is looking at it. That original me, the first I in that sentence, is unobserved. We propose that the relations between that unseen observer, the mirror, and the image in the mirror, that those relations are also innate. Because of all of this, the idea that there is ambiguity out there is frightening, but it is terrifying. Screaming through the streets, terrifying, because it implies that we might not know ourselves. That there might be ambiguity in here. We are not culturally prepared for that idea. Our culture does not teach us how to handle the idea that we don't know ourselves. It doesn't prepare us for the idea that we might never know ourselves. But we have to consider that. We have to consider that a possibility. I would go so far as to say that that's an inevitability. And that has, to some degree, always been so. That the point of convergence of event, instruction, experience, perception, and reflection that I refer to as I is necessarily a derivative of forces the origins of which I cannot perceive, the relations of which, assignation of origin, I cannot perceive. And that immediacy of experience only encompasses the range in which I am selecting perception. That whatever I could significantly refer to, there is more I that is unknown than is known. And we have to start with that. In these questions of mutability and improvability of human condition. Admitted self-ignorance. And here's the kicker, here's the big one. Self-ignorance is not going to be effectively addressed by denial. Continued disinterest in our own internal condition is not going to improve our knowledge of our own internal condition. Like the teacher walks into the classroom, says pop quiz. Pop quiz passes out the papers, and if you just stare at the ceiling and pretend there's nothing on your desk, that's not a guaranteed A. You're not going to pass. You're not going to pass the quiz by pretending it doesn't exist. You are not going to ace the course by refusing to attend, pretending that other people are saying something insane. You're not going to ace a class by refusing to acknowledge that it exists.